This is Akko's initial attempt in making a low-profile keyboard, and they hit it right at the first try. With fierce competition, the Air01 has been great to use, but it has some pitfalls that can easily be addressed. Let's quickly check it out. Disclaimers out of the way first, Akko has sent me this keyboard for me to review, but I specifically requested for this as I'm a big fan of low-profile keyboards. Knowing this and all, the thoughts and opinions I'll say are all mine. They're seeing this video the same time as you do. Opening up the minimalistic looking Akko box, we are first greeted with the board itself, still wrapped for us to take a look at later. Underneath that is a quick start guide that details how to connect this board in various different modes. Next are the accessories neatly tucked inside this box. First of which is an unbraided nor coil Type-C cable in black, the switch puller in white, and keycap puller in purple. Pretty much standard fare for accessories. What is not is the additional Windows alternative keycaps. By default, the Air01 is built with Mac and iPad usage in mind. Next to that is a 2.4 GHz dongle, as well as a Type-C to Type-A adapter that's perfect for tablet, even MacBook usage. This is such a well thought out accessory list in my opinion. Going back to the board, I've got mine in with Kailh Cloud linear switches, all finished up in this silver case with black low profile keycaps. First impressions, this is one light board for being a CNC aluminum case. Let's start with the basics. The Air01 is Akko's first low profile keyboard. It uses a compact layout and comes in two color options, cloudy white and ink black. You can choose from several switch types, such as the Kailh clouds, which are linear, Kailh drifts, which are midway tactiles, summer switches, which are clicky, and winter switches, which are the lightest tactile option. Despite all these configuration options, every variant is priced at $99 USD, making it a very affordable option for a low-profile keyboard. Going over the physical design, starting at the front, you'll notice a Mac focus layout right away. It uses a compact 75% layout, fitting in all the keys in one grid, with the function keys catered towards Mac usage. On the left side, there's a slightly unfamiliar bottom row for most mechanical keyboard users. Instead of the usual 3 keys, it includes an extra FN key, designed more for laptop-style use cases. You can remap this depending on your preferences, whether you're going for a Mac layout, a ThinkPad style setup, or something like a Dell XPS, which is my personal preference with Control, FN, Win, and Alt in that order. On the right side, you've got your arrow keys and navigation cluster, while up top, you'll find the function row along with a dedicated key for controlling the RGB lighting. Along the sides, there's really nothing going on, just a flat profile that highlights how thin this is compared to a standard mechanical keyboard. To put that into perspective, here it is next to my daily driver in the studio, which is the Raxinag 98, and you can clearly see the difference in thickness. Moving over to the rear, you'll find the control panel for all the connectivity options. There's a USB port for wired mode, a tri-mode switch for 2.4 GHz and Bluetooth, and a toggle for switching between Windows and Mac. Flipping it over to the back, you're greeted with a clean space gray-like silver finish, outlined by thin rubber feet for grip. Near the bottom, you'll also find the Air01 model marking. Overall, I don't really have any issues with the design. It's clean and minimalist, without feeling overdone. I especially like how uniform and well-proportioned the bezels look, although I do find them a bit sharp to the touch. Still, pair this with any Apple product, and it wouldn't feel out of place at all. Weighing in at just over 640 grams, this is light enough to carry around without any hassle. I've been comparing it to the Nuphy Air60 that I've been using for the past few months, and overall, this just feels more premium and more complete. It blends easily to any setup, and the build quality is nothing to complain about. Speaking of durability, After about 2 to 3 weeks of use, I haven't noticed any issues with the finish on the CNC aluminum case. It feels solid, and I wouldn't hesitate to toss it around into a bag and take it on the go. As per disassembly, I don't mind it. It's easy enough to disassemble, but there's no reason to open this up, especially since the modding potential here is fairly limited anyway. The case is secured with screws around the edges, so you can take this apart without much trouble if needed. Overall, I'd give the case solid marks. Moving over, let's quickly go over the PCB specs, then I'll get into a few of my easily solvable issues. This is a pipe-in hot swap keyboard with a north-facing orientation for its socket. But quick disclaimer, it's only compatible with Kailh low profile switches. You're getting perky RGB that's bright enough for nighttime use, plus a light bar up top, all of which can be configured through Akko's web-based driver. It's also tri-mode, supporting 2.4 GHz and Bluetooth. And in my testing, connectivity was solid. I had no issues switching between multiple devices, even on my tablet, both over Bluetooth, and with the included 2.4 GHz dongle, and even the adapter. For my setup, using the Akko Cloud driver, I remapped the layout so control sits on the far left, followed by the FN key. The remapping process was straightforward and worked without any issues. Other than that, it also packs a 4500 mAh battery inside, which is rated to last weeks on a single charge. Overall, I'm giving high marks to the PCB, but there are a couple things worth pointing out. In wireless mode, I initially noticed a short delay when waking the keyboard from sleep, where it would take a few seconds before registering any input. However, I later found out that this is tied to the standby and deep sleep settings in the Akko web driver. I've since adjusted it to stay active for longer before going into deep sleep, which slightly affects the battery life, but I prefer it this way for the quicker response. Another thing I'd like to see is a better use of the light bar. Right now, it's just used as an RGB accent. For example, caps lock is already indicated directly on the caps lock key itself, and the battery status shows up on the left control key. It would be nice if some of these indicators could also be reflected on the light bar itself, or if there was an option in the software to enable that kind of unified visual feedback. Moving over, as for the laptop style layout, since I switch between a ThinkPad and a desktop quite often, adapting to the layout was pretty easy. What took more time to get used to was the low profile typing experience. Coming from my BD60, it felt a bit off at first, but after about a week of use, I was back to my usual typing speed. The same case as using my Nuphy for the first time before. Other than that, I don't really have any major issues with a PCB. Hopefully, a future update to the Akko web driver can address some of these smaller concerns. For the mounting, this actually uses a gasket mount design which helps isolate the PCB from the case. That said, since this is a low profile keyboard paired with a stiff aluminum plate, you don't really feel much of that gasket bounce. Instead, the gasket mount does more for sound isolation than for flex. From my testing, the typing feel is noticeably better than my Nuphy Air60, where I found myself bottoming out a lot more on each key press. There's also a good amount of foam inside, which helps improve the overall sound profile, something you'll hear later. But for now, let's move on to the switches. The switches I have here are the Kailh Clouds. These are 50-gram linear switches with a PC top housing, a palm stem, and a nylon bottom housing. Sound-wise, they lean on the quieter side with a slightly Topra-like character. They're subtle and they're clean, which makes them great for office use. In terms of feel, they sit somewhere in between a typical laptop keyboard like the ThinkPad's chiclet style keys and a full-height mechanical keyboard. They're easy to get used to, although I did experience quite a few mistypes during the first couple of weeks of use. As per the keycaps, you can choose between black like the set I have here or white. These are some of the better looking low profile keycaps I've ever seen. Though, I have to admit, I still think Nuphy has a slight edge on this one. Their double shot PBT with a very minimalistic design, simple modifier text, and centered legends. That said, I did notice a few alignment inconsistencies. The function row is clearly Mac-orientated, and overall, the design really leans into that Apple-inspired look, which I think works well enough for this keyboard. And finally, to the sound test. This is the Akko Air01 with Kailh cloud switches, all stock with no mods. Enjoy! Using this over the past few weeks has been nothing short of great. This particular layout is something I'm already familiar with, and it feels like using a ThinkPad keyboard but on a full desktop setup. The low profile design and solid build quality are the standout features for me, and they make this a strong option for on-the-go use. The Mac Focus layout is fine in my book, especially since they also include Windows support. As someone who doesn't use any Apple devices, it's nice to see that this board still feels universal. That being said, I do wish they improved the initial parameters for wake-up response time from sleep and gave the light bar a bit more functionality. But overall, the feature-packed PCB, the implementation of the Akko WebDriver, and the overall presentation of the keyboard are all well done. I've genuinely enjoyed using this over the past 2 weeks, and for now, it might just replace my Nuphy Air60. How about you? What do you think of the Air01? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm John J. Pimava, and I'll see you in the next video.